Okay, so Urban Equities. I think his name Justin something. I find out his name specifically. Dude on Urban Equities, executive vice president of Urban Equities, must have had a bad dinner today. I'm not sure. Maybe his wife broke up with him over dinner, asked for divorce over dinner. Maybe they lost one of the properties. Maybe, I know a lot of people say that they be out here burning down properties. Maybe one of the properties that they burnt down, maybe the person who burnt it down got caught for burning it down. But Justin from Urban Equities popped up over here. And one of the things let me show you the building. So this building that's over here, in the back, been plugging up a laptop, multiple different things to charge. Here's police over here. But plugging up a laptop, multiple other different things to charge, get juice from. And so I was walking to the back to go plug something else up, and Justin from Urban Equities had something up his ass today. Was holding the laptop that I had plugged up, came and handed it to me and said, don't plug nothing else up back here unless your guy apologizes for yelling at me. He was speaking about Terry. This is some shit that happened about 4 months ago. This is what white privilege looks like. Shit happened 4 months ago. He mad because Terry didn't bow down to him when he came down here mad about chalk being written on the sidewalks. So he come and say that. After saying that, I tell him I can't control what another person do. I'm not responsible for what another person do, what another person say. And then he goes on this long diatribe about how this is his property. Let me make sure. How this is his property over here, and how he gonna call the police on us for criminal trespass. Make sure. And they got a bunch of properties all over. So he said that this is his property. He gonna call the police for criminal trespass. And I told him, go ahead, call the police for criminal trespass. I don't care. And then he went on about how he was gonna call the police for theft. He said for theft because I had the laptop plugged in and was charging it. He was gonna call the police for theft. So I told him, go ahead, call the police for theft. Call the police for theft and call the police for criminal trespass. This is, again, Justin, what's his name? Justin Verlander? No, that's the pitcher from the Detroit Tigers. But Justin from Urban Equity, so he go on this big diatribe, threatening to call the police over a laptop being plugged in, say he's gonna call for theft, threatening to call the police for criminal trespass for people standing over there, for me standing over there, not people. So going back and forth with him, like I said, I don't know if he was drunk or some shit, but he mad about some shit that happened about 4 months ago. So then he says, you haven't accomplished anything, crime rates are still high. And again, this is a white man who don't know nothing about no protests and don't know nothing about no demonstrations, don't know nothing about activism, none of this. It's just a white man who owned property. But because, again, when you live in a society where as a white man, when you have capital, you are looked at as some type of king in a castle, or looked at as some type of mogul, you know. That's the type of entitlement conversation that you have. That's the type of entitlement talking that you have. And so this is the same guy who, 4 months ago when all of this shit happened, this disagreement that he had got into with Terry, he came down here yelling and screaming because it was chalk written on the sidewalks and it was cuss words in the chalk. And so he came down here yelling and screaming about that. And he was mad because people didn't bow down to him when he was came down here mad about this. I'm sure the type of people he encountered in his life bowed to him when he started raising his voice and yelling. So he raising his voice, yelling and shit. Antar come back to see what's going on. And then he say to Antar, I'm gonna have you arrested. You criminally trespassing. Again, for, let me see, Justin, Urban Equities. I gotta find, I changed the title, put his last name on it for him. This what the parking lot look like back here. So Antar steps sort of by where that car was at, and he talk about he gonna call the police and have him arrested for criminal trespass. So it's around at that point where he start losing his fucking mind. He start walking towards Antar, yelling and screaming and shit, talking about having people arrested for criminal trespass. Again, I don't know if he was drunk, if he like high off coke, if he got a Sherm high. I don't know what it is, but it's obvious because it's about 9 o'clock at night. He went out his way to come and unplug this laptop from in the back of City Hall and to make these threats. It's obvious he done had one of his contracts fell through or some shit like that. It's obvious he done had some type of a bad evening and he wanted to try to find somebody to take out his bad evening on. So since my laptop can't plug up and I can't charge the laptop so I can work on some of the things I was gonna work on, I'm gonna return Justin's threats with chalk all over this public sidewalk right in front of the building that's owned by Urban Equities. And these buildings over here, I believe these buildings is owned by Urban Equities. I'm gonna put chalk all on them sidewalks. And I'm sure Justin gonna watch this or somebody from Urban Equities gonna watch this. Don't come down here making no fucking threats. Don't come down here making no fucking threats. Nobody is scared of you racist ass white people. Don't care about how much capital you got, how many buildings you own, none of that. You wanna come down here and have a respectable conversation? That's cool. That's fine. But this is what I don't care if you a racist, if you racist as Justin that own Urban Equities, or you racist ass Kyle and Marge Bevers who own the building that Subway is in. Motherfuckers not finna bow down to the crazy ass shit that you saying. Ain't nobody giving no apologies to fucking Justin. Ain't nobody giving no apologies to Urban Equities. Urban Equities need to worry about these buildings that's getting burned down all over town that people say they're responsible for. It's one of his men. It's one of his people right here. It's one of his workers right here. So the energy that I was going to use on the laptop, the energy I was going to use on that, I'm going to use it all on this sidewalk right here. This whole sidewalk. 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 And this joint that's over here. This sidewalk that's over here, this Urban Equities too. It's a whole street on the other side of town where every building in there is Urban Equities. You got board meetings and things to take care of. That's what you should be worried about. Not down here making threats about arresting people for criminal trespass and arresting people for theft because of a laptop being plugged in. Privileged ass white people. We outside. Fuck Urban Equities.